organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
On this edition of Daily Iowan TV,
closing the floodgates, how to prepare for potential flooding in Iowa City.
And learn your legislators. We see what students know about their elected officials.
And in sports, Iowa baseball kicks off Big Ten play.
All that and more next.
Daily Iowan TV is ready to go. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mary LaPlaca.
And I'm Hannah Thompson.
It may not look like it from the snow we've had today, but spring is on the way, and that means one thing, flooding. The National Weather Service report says that Iowa River has less than a 5% chance of reaching its 22-foot flood stage, but you can never be too prepared. Daily Iowan TV's Greta Miley spoke with an Iowa City certified floodplain manager on how to prep for potential flooding.
Deep frost, freezing temperatures, and a lot of melted snow. With these conditions as a recipe for potential flooding, preparation can be key to preserving your home.
If we were to get sustained rainfall under these conditions, the water won't be able to absorb very far into the ground. So it sets up a possibility of heavy localized flooding.
Tallman said flood damage can occur regardless of whether housing is located in a 100-year floodplain, meaning a 1% chance of flooding, a 500-year floodplain, meaning a 0.2% chance of flooding, or elsewhere.
You purchase a home in the floodplain and you have a typical 30-year mortgage, which is what most people have. There's actually a 26% chance over that 30 years that the structure is going to be flooded at least once.
Because of these unpredictable weather conditions, she noted flood insurance as a necessity because flood damage is not covered in homeowners insurance.
If you feel that your property is at risk of flooding and you don't have flood insurance, you don't want to wait until the forecast is for 6 more inches of rain.
The National Weather Service said Iowa City has a 5% chance of reaching its 22-foot flood stage, so Tallman encourages everyone to prepare adequately for such conditions. Greta Miley, Daily Iowan TV.
The cold winter has caused thousands of Iowans to fall behind on utility bills. The Iowa Utilities Board said that over 243,000 homes were behind on bill payment as of February. That number is 4% more than last year. The higher cost of propane and natural gas for heating caused the debt numbers to rise to $46 million, which is 40% higher than 2013.
Governor Terry Branstad signed an executive order to increase accountability and transparency of employee settlements after an internal review showed numerous state agencies have entered secret settlements. Branstad called the confidential agreements unacceptable and wrong. The review showed that $350,000 tax dollars to pay for the 24 secret settlements.
The Iowa City City Council has discussed changing some one-way streets to two-ways in Iowa City. In 2012, 2 blocks of Washington Street underwent the switch back to a two-way. Now the council is discussing if the same could be done with Market and Jefferson Streets, a change that they think could be helpful to businesses in the area. Those 2 roads have been one-ways since the 1970s, and converting them would be a multi-million-dollar project. But if the changes do happen, Councilman Kingsley Botchway says area restaurants and stores could see more shoppers through their doors because the area would be easier to access.
Boost not only the level of traffic, but the different things that come with, bikeability, walkability, and kind of adding to that discussion to make, Iowa City a great destination.
Botchway says the council is still discussing the pros and cons of the project.
Human trafficking, it's a political hot topic on the national scale, but now the issue is buzzing among lawmakers here in Iowa. Most recently, the House and Senate unanimously passed forward a bill that would change penalties for trafficking minors in the state. Lawmakers are calling this a hybrid bill between the House and Senate versions. Finer details are still being worked out between the chambers before an official bill is passed.
Much more still coming your way on Daily Iowan TV.
Thought those e-cigs were harmless? A new report shows the dark side of the new electronic fad.
And in sports, an analysis of the Wrestling NCAA Championships.
But first, we have our own Megan Horhan back in the studio for your weather. It didn't look like the day after spring break because of all the snow that's going on, but is it actually going to warm up soon?
Thanks, guys. We saw a bit of snow today, but tomorrow we shouldn't see much. However, we won't be safe from the cold. The morning will start off with a high of 23 degrees. Then in the afternoon, temps will reach 29 degrees. Tomorrow night will round out with a high of 23 degrees. Looking into our extended forecast, temps will continue to warm up throughout the week with highs in the high 40s Wednesday and lower 50s on Thursday. Light rain is expected on Thursday. Friday we'll see partly cloudy skies and high 40s. You might be able to get outside this weekend with sunny skies expected for Saturday and highs reaching the mid-50s. Next week, we may even see temps above 60. That's our Monday weather forecast. A few cold days ahead, but then it's time for spring. Back to you.
Unintended consequences from the e-cigarette phenomenon are coming to the surface. According to New York Times analysis of liquid nicotine, it seems children are at risk for being poisoned. Flavors like bubblegum and watermelon may sound appetizing, but it turns out if ingested, the substance could be deadly. Nicotine poisonings have gone up 300% since 2012. And now we'll toss it over to our own Reed Chandler, who is standing by for this week's edition of Political Alert. We're only 8 months out from Election Day in November. What do UI students know about their state lawmakers, Reed?
Thanks, guys, and today we're learning your legislators. We're 8 months out from Election Day, and knowing who's who at the state level can be tricky. Our own Megan Horhan hit the streets of Iowa City to find out just what students know about their local lawmakers. Check it out.
Hi guys, it's Megan Horhan here today, and I'm out here on the University of Iowa campus to find out how much students know about their Johnson County lawmakers. Let's find out.
I have a couple pictures here of local state senators and legislators, and I'm just going to hold them up and see if you know who they are. Is he a Democrat or a Republican?
Republican.
State Senator Robert Dvorsky is actually a Democrat serving his 6th term in the Iowa Senate. Senator Dvorsky is on the chair of the Appropriations Committee.
Senator or representative?
Senator. She dresses a little bit nicer. Gotta use her fashion sense.
State Senator Sandra Grainer is a Republican. She will be retiring her seat at the state Senate after elections this fall.
Is he a Democrat or Republican?
He's a Republican. Democrat. He's a Democrat.
Iowa State Senator Joe Bolcom is in fact a Democrat and is the majority whip of the Iowa Senate.
Republican.
She's actually a Democrat.
Oh, really? Oh, I had no idea. She looks like a Republican.
Representative Vicki Lensing is serving her 6th term in the Iowa House as a Democrat. She holds a ranking position in the State Government Committee.
She is a representative of the Democratic Party.
Ding, 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 we have a winner.
Sally Stutzman was previously a chair on the Johnson County Board of Supervisors and is serving her 1st term as a state representative.
Is he a Republican or a Democrat?
Republican.
You got it right.
Yes! Representative Bobby Kaufman is the lone Republican representing Johnson County and is serving on the Economic Growth and Agriculture Committee.
Senator? Representative?
Representative.
And what party?
Democrat.
You got it.
Mary Masher is originally from Iowa City, Iowa. She serves as the Assistant Minority Leader and serves on the Education Committee. Representative Dave Jacoby is a Democrat and plays a big role in the Ways and Means Committee. This committee focuses on issues such as Social Security and unemployment benefits. This was Megan Horhan with Daily Iowan TV.
All of those candidates are up for re-election this November. Get to know them before then so you can make an informed choice.
Thanks, Reed. A lot going on as 2 Iowa sports close out their seasons.
Yes, and Alyssa Bergamini is standing by with everything you need to know about Hawkeye sports. Alyssa?
Thanks, Hannah. Alyssa Bergamini standing by in the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. We have a wide range of Hawkeye sports on tap tonight. A review of the conclusion of the men's basketball season later, but we start this Monday back out on the mound where Heller and squad are just getting started. Over the weekend, Iowa baseball opened their Big Ten play with a series win over Nebraska with a come-from-behind victory. On Sunday, the Hawks put up 4 runs in the 8th inning, claiming an 8-4 victory over the Huskers. Taking 2 of 3 games gave Iowa their first conference victory since 1998. Hawks will return for some non-conference action this Wednesday, where they will host Bradley. Onto the gridiron, Iowa football holding their pro day today with the Hawkeyes NFL draft hopefuls performing in front of NFL scouts. Not a lot of competition between other colleges, only Maine and North Carolina State also on today's schedule. Unofficial times coming in throughout the day, but be sure to check out the full Daily Iowan TV's recap on dailyiowan.com later in the week. Switching gears, the Iowa basketball team may not have ended their postseason ideally. Our own Aaron Faust takes us through all the ups and the downs that unfolded in the 2013-2014 season.
Starting off with a strong beginning, the Hawkeyes seemed to be unstoppable. Going into the Hawkeyes' first tournament battle for Atlantis, their season was at 6-0. The Hawks won the first 2 games of the tournament and were up the first half of their last game against Villanova and then lost in overtime 73-77. Entering the conference season, Hawks beat Huskers 67-57. Next, they had to Madison, Wisconsin against the Badgers, where they repeated their trend of leading into the half and falling back down in the second, 75-71. Jumping ahead against Michigan State, the trend once again continues in the first half. They tie it up to go into overtime and fall by 3 to the Spartans. Arguably the Hawks' best game of the season, where you can really see the full potential of the team, the Hawkeyes pull an amazing win against the Wolverines, 85-67. Ending the conference season with an upsetting streak of losses, 5 out of 6 games, Coach Fran McCaffrey and team head to the Big Ten tournament with hopes to flip the season around for the win. Iowa played Northwestern first round of the Big Ten tournament and lost 67-65. Hawkeyes then headed to the NCAA tournament where they played Tennessee for a place within the 64 teams. Hawkeyes played an amazing first half where they were in the lead and fell to a loss in overtime with a resulting score of 65-78. It is too quick to call it a defeated season since it was the first time the Iowa Hawkeyes made it to the NCAA tournament since 2006. Aaron Faust, Daily Iowan, TV Sports.
I'm now joined by our very own wrestling beat reporter, Cody Goodwin, who spent the last weekend down in Oklahoma City covering the NCAA championships. Probably the biggest success story of the weekend, with Tony Ramos winning at 133 pounds. That had to be amazing for him, and what was his reaction like when he won?
I'll tell you what, Alyssa, his reaction, he darted right off the stage and went to go hang out with his family. He jumped right into the arms of his older brother, Frankie, who actually gave him a hat that said NCAA champion right across the front. It was actually a really cool sight to see. You can see him up there. There's a picture of him celebrating with Frankie up there. It was definitely a heartfelt moment, something that, you know, this has been something that Tony has not been able to do. That's win an NCAA title. As a sophomore, he took third, and last year he took second, losing just by 3 points. This time he's able to get the job done in overtime nonetheless.
On the other side, reigning NCAA championship Derek St. John, probably the biggest disappointment for the weekend. What happened here?
Well, Derek St. John has always wrestled really close matches, really hard-nosed kind of guy who can eke out, you know, a quick 6-4 or 3-1 victory. But when it came to this NCAA championships, he just didn't have the weekend that everybody thought he was going to have. And everybody thought he was going to have the weekend he had last year, where he did end up winning. He ended up on the winning side of all those close matches, ending with an NCAA title. This year, guys were able to figure him out. He gave up too many takedowns in the couple of matches that he did lose. He did end up 5th. That is respectable. And he's just the 18th Hawkeye to finish as a 4-time All-American. That's a very impressive feat in itself, Alyssa.
And Iowa placed 4th in standings. How did that measure up to expectations?
Well, obviously, Alyssa, their expectations was to win a national championship, and they weren't able to get it done. And it was really a collective team effort. Obviously, Ramos came down with the national title. A couple of guys wrestled above their seeds, Corey Clark at 125 pounds, for example. But there were a lot of guys that just weren't able to win the matches they probably should have won, earn the placements that they probably should have had. You know, they had 2 wrestlers that were seeded 5th that got bounced from the tournament altogether. So it really was a collective team effort that Iowa just didn't have the best weekend.
Well, great job by all, and as always, thank you, Cody. That's all we have for tonight's show. Be sure to tune into tomorrow's program, where we'll continue our wrestling coverage with a look at the champion himself, Tony Ramos. Mary and Hannah, back to the desk.
Thanks, Alyssa. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan.
A new meaning to the term super senior, how some students are starting their graduate degree before they even get their bachelor's.
And blown away, read about the future of wind power in Iowa City.
Well, that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.